Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Yes. And as you can see, we have a new guest joining us today. We are going to talk, of course, a lot of NBA and some WNBA. So surprisingly, no NFL topic, but right now there's not one that's really super important. So let me go ahead and introduce him. So y'all know I got my main man G. G was good.
What's going on, fellas?
Maintaining. And joining us, we got my guy Bryant Transform, who clearly wants to talk about a certain team in purple and gold. So
I think Lakers, I believe, is what the name. Lakers.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like to say that name.
I think that's what the name is.
All right. So what I want to do here, first and foremost, I want to give Bryant Transform a proper welcome. We all three are veterans here, so I want to say I definitely appreciate your service, B.
Likewise, brother.
Absolutely, it's all love when you see somebody who's willing to put on that uniform and go handle business. So, let me go ahead and welcome you. Here you go.
Nice one, Brad. So try to catch this one.
Got it.
Yeah. Woo!
Thanks for the football, soldier. Mine now.
Go Army.
Beat Navy.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it's gonna be that type of party. So we're gonna go ahead and saddle up.
It's definitely
shout out to all my
party,
sailors out there, Navy servicemen. Okay, that video was entirely disrespectful. I'm reporting that to your upper chain of command. I got it.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead and get that out of the way.
But, hey man, we had to show you some love. You know what I'm saying? We had to show you some love.
I mean, I see your love is different from what the dictionary states. So go ahead.
No doubt. All right, team. Y'all can see from the rundown here. Normally we start from top to bottom, but obviously the NBA draft is the biggest story of the day. And one particular player in the NBA draft, of course, is the biggest story of said draft. So we're gonna rearrange a little bit, and we're gonna start there, and then we're gonna go to the other topics. So let's get right to it. Obviously we see NBA draft, and this was a weird draft, right? There weren't what we would perceive to be as, the generational talents or the real game changers in this draft. We saw a lot of guys at the top. I want to say 3 guys in the top 7 from France and 4 guys in the top 12 or top 13 from France, I believe. So very interesting. And quick side note to that, the French Olympic team might be something this year, huh? they might look like.
The thing is, I don't think they're playing.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think they're on the roster.
Okay. Well, maybe not. That's something we need to check out. But let's go ahead and start there. So obviously, we're not going to beat around the bush. Biggest story of the NBA draft, and we are going to start with you, my new guest, the Transformer. Bronny James obviously goes number 55, second round to the Los Angeles Lakers. Rich Paul and LeBron James, they flexed their muscles. They got their guy. Where are you on this pick?
I'm everywhere with it. I'm everywhere with it. And what I mean by that, I know they're doing the service for LeBron. The reason why Bronny's getting drafted right now to this day is because of his father. So when I see people talk about that, he's only because of LeBron James. Granted, that's the right thing to do. If I'm the face of the league, I'm the star and everything like that. Like, if I have a chance to play with my son and I brought this city a championship, do right by me. But as far as the pick itself, I think you're in LA. It's going to create that publicity that you want, the views, the clicks, the showmanship for him being at a game is going to be through the roof. Because why? It's a father-son duo playing together in the NBA. When can we say we've seen that before? You know what I mean? When that first assist from either Bronny to LeBron or Bron to Bronny happens, oh man, media is gonna blow up. And when the media is blowing up, everybody's making money. So it's a financial move for the league. It's great for getting the face out there. We're not gonna go into the basketball yet because I don't believe he's gonna be on that roster for long. I think we're just gonna get him in there. Let's go ahead and do this ceremony of Father leaving the game, handing it over to his son in a sense that he's in the league situation. And then I think he goes to the G League or something like that to develop a little bit more because, he didn't do a lot at UFC. So seeing the court in the first five games of the year after that, slowly but surely slide him on to the G League, let him develop in the next, 2 or 3 years, he could be on the roster. So
Okay. G, where are you with this?
I'm kind of torn. I don't know if this is a bigger story for Bronny or is this a story for LeBron and his reach.
You already know where I am on that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he develops. The G League probably wouldn't be a good place for him. I can see him doing that. But we just saw like a guy from the Pistons, right? He get drafted from the G League, so I don't think he's gonna go down to the G League. I think Shorty's gonna scrap up. He got his father back in for the next 2 or 3 years. So I think with his father's influence and resources, he'll be able to develop into a guard. I mean, Austin Rivers is still in the league, and it's like, it could go either way, man. I wish the kid the best of luck.
Absolutely.
There's ballers in this draft, though. There really is some ballers in this draft. The kid that got drafted to the Spurs and went to
Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right.
Oh, man, he's a bucket, man. He deserves it. Like, I don't know if Bronny deserves to be in the league right now, and I'm just gonna overlook that until he showed me otherwise. But for right now, he pulled on his dad's strings and got in. So he's stuck in the league. It's relatively a weak draft. A lot of international players. I know I'm all over the place. You guys want to stick with the Lakers, but you got to shout out the other kids that that worked hard to get there, right?
That's
they
right.
didn't jump on their dad back and get carried into the league. But you guys, like Transformer, you guys did a really good job with the first pick, right?
Absolutely.
We was laughing about that before the show. You guys did a really good job with the first pick. So much so, I was like, yep, there's nothing else in the draft. I'm just gonna pick up Bronny with my next pick. And
that's why I wasn't mad at it. I mean, 55. I mean, 55th pick in the draft. That could be anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
that could be anything.
It's literally a gamble. You know what I mean? So I think they did right by Bron. Like, hey, let's get his son in there. Let's get his son in there. Boost the morale in him. Get that showmanship. Get them. Like I said, it's about clicks. It's also about clicks. You got to think. It's a lot of money that's going to be made with him being a Laker.
My bad, guy.
Last point I got is like you get to see it full circle, right? Like LeBron came into the league. LeBron had kids. We got to see his kids on the basketball court at a very young age, and now it's full circle. Now his kid in the league playing with him. So it is really a good storyline. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to get it like that though, right? Because other players are gonna have that chip on their shoulder. They come at you every night, regardless of how you feel. Like, and they
absolutely.
Talk to you. They're gonna talk to you.
So Patrick Beverly is coming. Patrick Beverly's coming.
Go get your pops. Go get your pops.
Right. They gonna talk greasy to him. Right.
Yeah.
Don't tell your daddy what I did. Now, don't tell your daddy.
Nah, they gonna say go get him.
He gonna have to baptize, man. He gonna have to baptize people every night.
Right.
Because as soon as he gonna get dragged on every media station. As soon as somebody get the best of him.
Oh, it's coming.
That's good. Those are all great points. First, y'all already know. I don't think this is anything to do with Bronny. Now, wait, let me take that back. It has a little to do with Bronny, right? I'm a father. I think we're all fathers here. So we all want the best for our children. I totally understand that, right? I get it. But to me, LeBron, he is such an attention. He is so addicted to attention. Let me say that. I was about to use a different term, but he's so addicted to attention. I believe truly, and I've been saying this is much more about what do you call it? About LeBron in terms of, like G said, when he get that first pass to his son, or his son gets his first pass to him, and it's gonna be like, oh, look at LeBron, look how happy he is. He's like a kid, he's rejuvenated, and oh wow, we've never seen anything like this in 22 years, and he's playing with his son and LeBron and his son, and that's what we're gonna hear so much of, right? Oh, look at the smile, and look at how he's coaching him up on the floor, and We're gonna hear all of that. So to me, this is more so about LeBron than Bronny, because notice Bronny already said, like, that's his dream, not mine. Not saying he doesn't love his dad and appreciate everything his father's done for him, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, but he said that's his dream, not mine. And Rich Paul already told it. Bronny told him, all I want is for my name to be called, right? So Bronny has said all the right things, and I believe he's the type of kid that just wants to come in, do the work, and own it and make it on his own, right? But that's not going to happen with the name that you have. Your name is LeBron James Jr. And they're going to come get you because they couldn't do that to your dad. And like G said, they're going to be talking greasy to you all the way. So now, what happens here is LeBron always going to be trying to jump in and defend him and save him. Like, that's going to mess up Bronny. Like, that's going to mess up his manhood. Now you're going to have that happening, and Bronny going to have to go to his pops at some point and be like, Pops, I'm a grown man. I got to do this for myself.
True.
Is Bronny going to like that? Is LeBron going to like that? Now you have the others. Say again, G?
So I'm going to get him traded.
Man, listen,
you get the son traded, boy, that's unbelievable.
He will trade anybody if he thinks it's costing him money or a chance of the chip. He will trade anybody. But no, I mean, then you got the other thing of, we know that JJ Redick, and we'll talk about him later, he can be I'll say that I fully get the impression that he can be difficult if someone is not doing what he thinks they should be doing on the court. And Bronny, as a young player, has plenty of mistakes to make. And I totally get that. There's nothing wrong. Young players make mistakes. But what happens if he needs to be severely reprimanded? JJ Redick, is he going to be able to do that? And if he does that, then what happens with LeBron? We got all these other side issues that shouldn't be issues because it's Bronny James. And finally, my last point on this is I'm frustrated because this is Bronny James taking a roster spot from somebody who may have played overseas or may have played 4 years in college and worked their butt off to get an opportunity to get drafted. But because it's Bronny James, that spot is not going to go to them. You know what I'm saying? So these are all.
But you got to think about that. Like when people say that right there, right? That happens in life, period. You know what I mean? So if your father's the CEO of said business, right? There's plenty of other up-and-coming guys who've been in the business industry, who went to college, who have the credentials. But guess what? My son is next. So guess what? My son is going to leap over everybody. So I don't necessarily feel bad for that, because you see that every day in society, period. You know what I mean? If it's my son and I can put him, if I can give him this position, if I can put him in this spot in life, me as a father, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure my son is in that place to succeed. So from a father standpoint,
yes and no, because just like you, I'm a father, but am I going to put my son in that spot knowing that he didn't deserve it and he's not ready for it? Am I going to do that? Because is that setting him up for success? And I'm not saying Bronny will not eventually succeed, because again, I believe he's a good kid. We know he's got great genes. We know he's got physical tools and all that. But is he ready right now? Is it setting him up for success to put him in this spot for all of the reasons I mentioned? And of course, his actual game on the floor. I think I don't know, man. I think there's just a lot of things standing in his way, and I'm concerned about that. And again, I also don't like the fact of LeBron and Rich Paul flexing the way they did openly. Like, if you pulling the strings behind the scenes, that's one thing. But if you flexing openly and basically saying, yo, we run this, I don't think that's cool or good for the game or good for the league. That's my thought. I could be wrong.
I mean, they've been doing that for years.
Yeah, but not openly like this. Remember that interview Rich Paul did last week, and he was like, if we wanted to, we would just force them to take Bronny at 17. I'm like, yo, why would you say that? Why would you publicly say that?
Because we know the reality.
Yeah, definitely flexing the favoritism there. But at the same time, man, like you gonna have players from all 32 of these, 31 of the teams going at his neck every day. And so, he's gonna get baptism by fire, because a lot of people believe he don't belong there. So he got to show that night in and night out. You got to earn that respect, or you got to earn that time. If he get in there and shit the bed, he won't be in the game long, right? We may not see him this year. He may not make it out of training camp. So, that's another thing that, I mean, of course, his dad gonna make sure he pull the strings there.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
But
that boy's gonna see the court in 2024 to 2025.
No, he's definitely going. He's definitely going to see the court.
Definitely going to see the court.
Yeah, he got to, especially that last game.
Yeah, you got to put him in the game this year.
No, you got to.
Yeah, you got to.
To the point you made earlier, Transform, there's the money component. So we can never look past that. But side note, I've always looked at it this way. If you put a great product on the floor and you're competitive and you're winning, the money gonna come. Why you gotta resort to the shenanigans? That's what I'm saying. Just put a great product out, and the money will come.
And the thing, we're gonna, because I'm gonna go more into the details of this about the Caitlin Reese that we got coming up topic.
Oh man,
People
yo, what's up,
love-
Russell? He's not going to the G League. LeBron is not going to allow that. There's no way. I can't see it. I would be shocked. I would be shocked.
I won't be.
I think what he averaged, like 6 points at USC.
5
like that.
6 or 7.
5.
6 or 6. Yeah, I mean under 10 player, right?
Yeah,
under 10 points a game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have a time. I had a chance to check out his highlights. A lot of his the points he showed in the highlights, he played it either above the rim or he was showing distance. You know, some. I believe that since he's been playing the game, he was born on a basketball court. That he's going to stand out. I think it's going to take 5 years for him to come around and get up to speed. But some veterans is going to school him if he set out there today. If they put this product on the field on the court this week, or I mean this year, he's going to have, and he needs to have that. That needs to happen, right? He couldn't get it done on a collegiate level, and so I think he left because he wasn't going to dominate in the college. We saw that he had some health issues too.
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah, and so maybe this is more about. Yeah, maybe this is more about him finishing up his journey versus because we don't know what shape he's in. We know his dad pulled some strings, which that's not the first time we've seen that. Austin Rivers, Steph brother, right? Like they was all mediocre players, or what they call today role players, right? Not tier 1 player, but maybe like a tier 2, tier 3 player, right? And so it's going to be interesting to see how this work out. But there's some kids that came in this draft that's going to take his change. And he going to take his lunch money at that rookie at that first year, that rookie game when they all come together and play. Man, is he either going to sink or swim, fellas? I think that's where it's going to go.
What's good, L Buggy? I see you in the chat, man. Thanks for coming in. That's another one of my Army battle buddies there, Brian, and he is a Laker guy like you through and through. But he's hurting right now. He don't have the confidence that you have.
You got to stay confident. Laker fan, Laker Nation, you got to stay confident. If you ain't confident, you don't need to be a Laker, baby.
You got to do something. But I mean,
we rolled through the waves, baby.
Well, I tell you what, Laker Nation, all you got to do is look to the east. You know what I'm saying? Look at the boys in green in B-Town, and they'll show you how it's supposed to happen.
Next topic. Next topic.
Hey, before we move on, right?
Oh, we're not even moving on.
We're not moving on. I just want him to stop talking about that green stuff.
I'm bouncing back and forth because there's a couple players that I saw get drafted. I'm like, oh, okay. So the guy Bub Carrington from he played at St. Francis, and then he played at Pitt. Got drafted to the Trailblazers, and they traded him to the Wizards. Shorty, a 6'4" guard, can do it all, man. Definitely one to watch out for. He's with the Wizards, so there's a lot of basketballs down there to get shot because
right.
Time to develop. You know
what? You and I talked about this earlier, G. They're probably looking at him like he can be that replacement and be that next Bradley Beal type player there if he gets it going. So we'll definitely see what happens with that. So a couple weeks ago, Jalen Rose, he put out a tweet, maybe 3 weeks, a month ago. He put out a tweet basically saying American-born players, basically rough quote, get your stuff together because the jobs are getting fewer and far between. And basically what he was referring to is the influx of foreign-born players into the league, and they're taking up spots. And they're not taking up spots just to take them. They're taking them because they're earning them. And the systems that they come from and the way they're brought up in basketball is a different thing entirely from what our AAU system is doing. And so he mentioned that, and I remember I did a show about that, and a lot of people didn't agree with my commentary, but it's all good. But we saw last night how many Euros got drafted. The first 2 were from France. I think the first 3 out of the first 6 were French. 4 out of the first 12 were French, and then we saw Serbians. We know Serbia is a basketball hotbed.
I think it was Nikola.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, but yeah, so we're looking at this and we are seeing these guys are coming, man, and I don't know what the US is going to do in terms of their system. I think a big part of it is in America, the basketball developmental system for the most part is linked with school, right? high school basketball, and then if you're good enough, college basketball. And of course, you got the AAU, but in Europe and overseas, if you're good enough, you see guys 15, 16 years old, they're
Playing with
playing
grown men.
ball. Right. They're playing with grown
absolutely.
men, and they're getting beat up and they're getting screamed on by their coaches, and they're practicing twice a day and learning skills. Meanwhile, over here, if you're a superstar, the coaches are afraid of you because if they get, if they coach you tough like the way they used to, well, you're just going to take your ball and leave and go to another program. So, what are you guys' thoughts? I know G, you did your thing on the court. What are you guys' thoughts on what we're seeing in terms of the foreign born players really coming over here? And I'm not saying dominating the game, but if we're honest, was it what was it, four out of the top five players in the league in MVP voting last year, foreign born, I think. And was it the
Luka
first
Doncic,
all pro was what,
Nikola Jokic.
Doncic, Jokic, Embiid, and
Was
Shea
Embiid,
Gilgeous. So that's four
Embiid
out of
still in
five.
the ranking?
He wasn't in the
Because he
MVP
didn't
because
play
he missed
enough.
too many games, but I
Yeah,
think
he would have been.
I guess he couldn't make he couldn't make all NBA either. But he won MVP the previous year. So anyway, what are you guys' takes on this international player thing and what's going on in the league? It looks like a totally different league than what we ever saw before.
Gee, I'll let you take that one.
So the way I see it is and I said this so many times, right? The league has a defense issue, right? Like there's an issue with players playing defense in the league. It's that instant offense that people want to see. We look back when the Spurs was dominating. They had several passes before they shot the ball,
Yeah.
and you got to see you got to see people. How can I put this? You got to see the players actually showing that, hey, all right, it's more to basketball than just shooting, right? We're gonna wear the defense down. And I think if we had to, if we could, right, you go to that Spurs team with Ginobili and Tim Duncan and David Robinson and what's the point guard name, bro? Help me out.
Tony Parker.
Tony Parker, right? And there's a couple other role players in between that, but they had a system. You saw them playing in a system where you don't get that anymore, right? You don't see that level of basketball IQ where you can break them down. Everything's happening so fast. It's like you just catch the ball 2 passes and you're going back down because somebody's shooting a 3. And so that actually, I believe it is taken away from the game because there isn't time to develop the defense that's needed, right? Like you go to college, you learn how to play defense properly, spacing. These players just coming in and it's like it's Jacktown.
Oh yeah,
team shooting 42 threes a game, unheard of, right? But back to the question.
Hey, somebody won a chip doing that, but anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And so no shots at you guys, man. But it kind of I think it takes away from the game. It takes away from the game. But again, that's the model that the NBA started on, and now they're trying to reverse that model, right? Because they open the door for a lot of players. This is a cultural thing, right? Not playing defense is a culture thing in the NBA, and there's an issue you see in the All-Star game where they don't know how to get the players to kind of put the effort in the lockdown. We don't see the chippiness. We don't see players, walking back and forth. We don't see the friendly banter. We don't see any of it. Like, I think it's a lost art in the modern NBA right now. And we will continue to see these international players as we spread the league, spread that basketball, overseas and so forth. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't have anything against it. Like I like Yogi.
Right.
My guy. He's a dog. And he talk crap to you, but it's like American, there's no way that many international players should be going top 10, man. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this, man?
Because
like who is these guys?
No, it's a fact. You left the door open and they're walking in your house now. And again, it's not a problem because they're earning these spots, but it's clear that these teams, these franchises are spending a lot of money scouting overseas. What we got, L Boogie? To me, European players going to take over the NBA because they got the fun. Yeah, facts. They know how to play.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're 100% right because it's so funny when back in the day, like around the Dream Team time and immediately after that, one of the reps on the European players was that European players are soft and the ball over there is soft. Now they're saying that it's much more physical over there and the defense is better over there. I heard Giannis say it. Jokic said it. Luka said it. I did a segment on it a while back. All three of them dudes said that it's much easier to score in the NBA than it is in FIBA.
And Luka showed that quickly.
That's disgraceful.
Luka showed that quickly.
Yes, he did show that quickly. Right. That shouldn't be happening. What we got? Jay Willis, what's up, man? Thanks for checking.
My boy Jay.
Days of American Players dominated.
That's a Navy guy right there, by the way, Bruce. So go ahead and respect this, man. Big Navy in the building.
What you trying to say, man?
Huh?
What you trying to say, man?
I mean, you came at me with the disrespect early with the Army stuff. Okay, so let me go ahead and put on for the Navy guys. Okay.
Okay.
You don't want to see us. You don't want to see us. You don't want to see us. Okay.
All right, we're gonna go on. Let me finish checking out Big Jay's comments. Man, appreciate you, Jay. Thank you for your service, brother. Days of American players dominating may be over. The game may be broadcasted in place in these big basketball markets that are showing the game to more eyes. Absolutely. So many. All right. I got you, brother. We appreciate you. Great point.
Go ahead.
Oh man, if I'd have known. But anyway, El Boogie. When I was in Germany, I watched the Europeans play, and they play like 80s and 90s and a couple of shots. We don't play like that no more. No, we don't. It's crazy. Nino, what's good? These guys play pro at 15. How can you compare that? Yeah, I think you must have missed it when we brought that up earlier. When we were talking about how guys go pro at a much earlier age, and it helps their development. In terms of playing the game. And again, I think one of the biggest things is our culture over here and not being able to coach guys hard. I think that's really problematic. But where's the other topic? My bad. So we got all this going on. We got a bunch of Europeans and foreign-born players going high in the draft and going in the draft overall. So I don't know, man. Somebody's got to figure this stuff out. And on the flip side, too, we have so many guys coming out of college at a very young age. And these guys, a lot of them don't seem like they're ready. But how can you tell guys not to come get the money when the opportunity's there? For instance, like we just acknowledged, we all served, right? You can join the military at 16 with a parental signature. You can join the military at 18 by yourself, literally die for your country, kill someone else for your country. And so if those things can happen, then you should be able to, if you have a mercurial talent, you should be able to go and be able to maximize and monetize it. So I see both sides of the coin.
Yeah, man, it's to me, it's going to get more international if we continue down this road. The NFL did the same thing. You know, once they changed the rules, the viewers want to see offense. We want to see scoring. We want the ball in the basket. They want the ball in the end zone in the NFL. So I think it's doing the same thing. I believe the now that we threw some football in there. USA just lost to Japan.
Yeah. G and I were talking about that earlier. The International American Football League or whatever it is.
Yeah, that mentality over there, they don't have that. You know, we just want to see the ball score. We want to see the game of basketball be played. We want to see defense. We want to see a low-scoring game because nobody can get those shots off. You know what I mean? So I think those days like that, we're
that's long gone, and they're not. I don't think they're coming back. I think
we're passing them.
They're allowing a little more physicality, as we saw. I think that terrible All-Star game really pissed Adam Silver off. So as you saw through the playoffs, they're allowing a little more bumping, but it's never going to get back to what we saw. But to that quick note, when we saw back in the day somebody scored 30, we knew that was a real 30, right?
Oh, absolutely. Because you had to work.
Right. It's not like now. Like, okay, I shoot 10 threes, I make 6 of them. That's 18 right there. I get some BS foul calls. I go to the line. That's 6 more points right there. I get a couple layups. That's 30. And I'm not saying these guys today can't play. That's not what I'm saying. I'm sure it sounds like old head, get off my lawn, but it's a different thing. Melvin Lyons, El Boogie says the American players here want to be celebrities than athletes. This is a great point. European players want to be athletes, not celebrities. But see, the thing is, while I agree wholeheartedly with that, the other problem is you can monetize fame over here so easily, right? So, and these young people are being told to build your brand and bring your brand with you to whatever you do. Meanwhile, when we were growing up, it was master your craft and your brand will build around that. But now it's different. They're being told to build their brand first. So it's not all their fault. Jay Willis, you had another great comment here. It's hard telling guys who come from poverty to turn down the big money and stay to develop. Absolutely. And I wouldn't tell him that. I wouldn't tell him that. But at the same time, it's hurting the product. I've been a proponent of you should be able to come straight from high school if you want to. But if you go to college, you got to stay 2 years. That's my thought. Now, maybe you could apply for a waiver from the league if you want to leave early after one, if you have shown that you're that type of
if I'm that guy.
talent. Right, if I'm that guy. But I think that if you go to college, you got to stay 2 years. If you don't, you can come straight out of high school. I have no problem with that.
So,
yeah, Boogie, that's what I'm talking about. That's my battle buddy right there. We we were roommates in Iraq for a year. That's my battle right there. Yeah, definitely.
So what I see is right, like the top. You look at the first 10 picks, right? All of them scored under 20 points. Right? 1 year, a lot of them was one and done. Some of them was played overseas pro, but they all averaged under 20 points a game, right? And then you look at a player like Melo, right, who went in the league and was a superstar. He averaged over 20 points a game, and I think that's the difference maker right there, right? Like you have true scorers that get drafted first, and I mean you got superstars that get drafted after 1 year, and that averages above, the 20-point limit. Like this is the first time I've seen players get
so
drafted
many guys
into the NBA. Yeah, so many guys get drafted with little output on the court, right? Like that's you water down the talent pool that way, I think.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. All right, any last thoughts before we go ahead and open up these lines for the calls?
No, open them up.
All right, so y'all know what time it is. If you're listening and you want to give your thoughts on this topic, whether it's Bronny James or whether it's the state of the NBA with the influx of international players or the state of this draft, dial the number 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. We want to hear from you. Let's get it.
I'm gonna need my Navy people. Don't curse like a sailor, okay? I know they come in here like, God darn it, dag. Yeah, calm down, fellas, calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, they say curse like a sailor for a reason, right? That's
curse like a sailor for a reason. I curse sometimes, and people got a record. They're literally counting how many times I curse in the conversation.
You know what?
Like, I was cursing like that. They were like,
I toned that down a lot over the last couple of years. I remember when we came home from Iraq, it was crazy. And the chaplain was like, okay, guys, you're back now. You can't be dropping F-bombs everywhere. Like, you're not in the box no more.
Yeah. What was that? The other day, me and you had a conversation when I was in the gym, and they were literally counting how many F-bombs I dropped. It was like,
there you go.
F-bomb limit, brother. Like, I'm cursing like that.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, bring me in, bro. My bad.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So no calls on this topic. I'm surprised. Nobody has anything to say about Bronny James or the influx of European players or the state of the NBA or the state of this draft.
Going once, going twice.
All right. Before we move on to the next topic, let me go ahead and give you all the reminder. I didn't do it at the beginning, but let's do that. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio.
What's good, man?
How you doing, brother?
I got on late today. I didn't know if y'all covered this. I wanted to know, what do you think about as far as the international players? How much is that because of the evolution of the skills? Like, okay, say you had Tony Kukoc back in the day. I know you remember Tony.
I do.
I remember Tony Kukoc.
As far as okay, he was like one of the ones, but everybody. So how much more like Dirk Nowitzki? He was one of the ones, but eventually you gotta think of how many people that's 16 that's playing basketball that's really working on their skills. So how much is it the evolution of the skills and overseas basketball? They see what's going on. Everybody want to be like Mike. How much is that? Does everybody get much better skill wise? Why we got so many international players?
So that's kind of an interesting topic, which we could probably delve into a whole nother segment. But I really don't believe that the players today are that much more skilled. I really don't. They say that they're better ball handlers. They're really not. They're allowed to carry and travel. They say that they're better shooters. They're really not. They just shoot threes a lot more. They say that they're better skilled overall, yet you got point guards who can't make a post entry pass and quote unquote big men who can't get on the block and get you a basket by turning over their shoulder or doing an up and under or a jump hook. So all these supposedly superior skilled guys, and I'm not saying the players today are not skilled. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not definitive in my estimation at all that today's players are so much more skilled. And you mentioned Tony Kukoc, and then I'll hand it over to the guys. You mentioned Tony Kukoc. Tony was a problem. If he walked into the league today, how he walked into the league back then, he would be Luka. Tony Kukoc was Luka before Luka. And so I think, right. So I think it's a function of, like G always says, the total lack of defense now versus back then. Guys weren't going to let Tony Kukoc walk into the league and just do whatever he wanted to do. He would get busy today. But gentlemen, you go ahead and take over. Give your thoughts on what Nino had to say here.
To me, people forget the fundamentals, right? Everything, social media, everything is about, hey, you got that bag. Oh, let me see that bag. You know what I mean? What your handles look like, what your jump shot look like, can you dunk and things like that. But I think the overseas culture, they don't care about all that dribble, shoot. They don't care about that. They care about, okay, cool. How can we get an easier basket? Like the San Antonio Spurs, they're pass. Let's find an open guy, pick and roll, shift around, call a screen, hold down the block, kick it to the corner. They're more on that type of mentality when it comes to basketball. So our younger culture, it's all about, hey, what flashy move can I do to get the clicks? Yeah. What can I put on my Instagram? What can I put on my TikTok? You know, everything's social media driven, and that's how these guys are getting paid. So the guys like the Luka Doncic's and those guys that's coming into the league now, they're like, hey, wait a minute, y'all just here for dribble? Say less. Because I couldn't do that overseas. Them folks is clamping me up. They're all in my face. They're guarding me heavy. By the time y'all done with this dribble situation, you gassed on defense.
Right.
Like, okay, so guess what? I'm a bigger guy. I'm gonna put you in the post, put you in the block, and it's literally slower. If you look at Luka's game, it's slower, but it's a little bit more fundamental. Like, okay, I'm gonna put you off my shoulder, boom, little check, and I'm throwing the J up in your face. Nowadays, everybody wants to be Kyrie. Everybody wants to be Steph. Everybody wants to shoot from 35. Like, but can you shoot from 17?
Nope.
You know, if I put you open on the block, you right there at the top of the screen. Are you smart enough to knock down that 17-foot jumper, or are you just waiting? You're gonna dribble, come in, bring it back behind the line. Now you're 30 feet. Oh, I can shoot that thing right there. It's game time. You know what I mean? So I think that's the problem when it comes to the international versus what we got coming out of our collegiate categories.
Gee, what's your thoughts, man?
I think it's a business model, right? The NBA is in the business of selling basketball and having that inclusion and representation across all these countries, right? Yao Ming, he went to the Hall of Fame. We was talking about this earlier. He went to the Hall of Fame for selling jerseys, right? He was a bucket. However, first ballot Hall of Fame is wild. Like,
that's wild.
Yeah, that's wild. And so, it's just making sure that as far as like American players, I think the ball is in their court, right? Because every time you have an international player that come in the league, it should be an American player ready to bust his ass. Use my language. But at the same time, right? Like it is what it is. That's the day. That's how the game is set up now. And the folks that created this game, or the silvers of the game, commissioners, GMs, they looking to expand their brand overseas. And so how do you do that? You draft the NBA player from France and you know what I'm saying, and all these other places. It almost remind me of Tropic Thunder, right? I don't know if everybody's seen the movie Tropic Thunder.
That's a classic.
That's a classic, right? That's a classic. But I don't know, man. You guys gotta stand up, man, and maybe they are.
Did we have to? Can we just say you had to bust their ass? Because if you look at most of the Europeans or whatever, they tall but they big man. Like, so how difficult was it? Y'all played ball in U.S. Even when I was playing in my little school, you was 6'3", or if you was considered a center or power forward, you couldn't shoot threes. That was illegal. You had to carry to the basket.
Right.
So if these guys coming over here with guard skills, playing big man positions like Dirk, but they moving like Jokic. You gotta be a little different to go at that now. That's something different. That ain't normal. That ain't normal activity like old man basketball.
No,
yeah, but it's two sides to it. It's also two sides to the basketball, right? Like, yeah, he gonna get his, but you gotta make sure that you're gonna get yours as well.
Right.
I'm just speaking when I'm thinking about this. Immediately, I'm thinking about Devin Booker when he played against Luka, and Luka just kept trashing him, and we got nothing from Devin. Matter of fact, I haven't heard from Devin Booker since. That's like 2 years ago.
Hey,
right?
what was the post? He looked at him like,
I
think he had like 49 in the closeout game.
You want to keep talking, man? Because what did Devin Booker make fun of? The flop? I think it was a flop that Luka did.
Yeah, these boys better get the lad.
That boy Luka gave that boy that work.
Yeah, no, it's a totally different game, and I think, and not to co-opt it, but remember we talked about the All-Star game and what can Adam Silver do. I think really the only fix to this, you got to get the pride back for the American players, and the way to do that is get this U.S. versus international All-Star game, because if they get beat, you're going to see they're going to make the change.
We got enough players now.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. All right, Nino, you got anything else for me, man?
Oh, no, that's all. I just wanted to get y'all perspective on that.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you calling, man. Stick around. We got some good stuff tonight.
I appreciate it.
All right, brother.